The breakup of the Beatles was a heartbreaking moment for fans around the world, but it ultimately played a crucial role in launching Paul McCartney's remarkable solo career. Following the group's disbandment, McCartney went on to form his own band, Wings, and released numerous albums as a solo artist. Among his early solo ventures was a unique album recorded just a year after the Beatles officially parted ways, one that did not carry his name in the credits. This album, titled Thrillington, was produced under the alias Percy Thrills Thrillington and released in 1977. Rather than being a traditional studio album, it was actually an instrumental cover of Ram, a previous collaboration between Paul and his wife, Linda McCartney. Due to the fact that Thrillington was released under a pseudonym and received minimal promotion, it failed to make it onto the charts. Although Thrillington came out in 1977, the recording had been completed in 1971. However, McCartney shelved the project for nearly 6 years as he focused on establishing Wings. Notably, while McCartney produced the album, he neither sang nor played on any of the tracks. He brought in arranger Richard Anthony Hewson to handle all of the instrumentation and orchestral arrangements. The recording process for Thrillington was swift, wrapping up in just 3 days. However, once McCartney and Linda committed to launching Wings, the project was put on hold. In fact, Thrillington had been completed even before Ram was officially released. By the time the orchestral album was finally ready to see the light of day, McCartney and Wings had already released several projects, including Wildlife, 1971, Red Rose Speedway, 1973, Band on the Run, 1973, Venus and Mars, 1975, and Wings at the Speed of Sound, 1976. After the release of Wings at the Speed of Sound, McCartney turned his attention back to Thrillington. He chose to release it without attaching his name to the project, a decision that left Hewson feeling disheartened, especially since his arrangements had been a central part of the album's identity. To prepare for the launch, McCartney created the fictional persona Percy Thrills Thrillington and even ran promotional pieces in various newspapers to stir curiosity among the public. The true reason why McCartney opted to release the album anonymously remains unclear to this day. Hewson admitted during an interview with We Are Cult that he had never fully understood McCartney's reasoning. He speculated that McCartney might have seen the pseudonym as a way to express his more experimental side, though he believed that releasing it under McCartney's actual name, such as something like Paul McCartney Orchestral, would likely have resulted in better sales. According to Hewson, many people were unaware the album even existed, while a few fans had only discovered its reissue through social media platforms like Facebook. Thrillington wasn't McCartney's only venture into instrumental music. He would later follow up with McCartney 2, released in 1980, 3 years after Thrillington, which also leaned heavily on instrumentals. Though Thrillington didn't achieve commercial success, Hewson considered it a precursor to McCartney's next steps in that experimental direction. He reflected that while Ram was arguably among McCartney's strongest work, Thrillington was overlooked at the time. However, he believed that if the album were more clearly marketed today as a McCartney project, it might finally receive the recognition it deserves.